Let's move on to another game here that really is interesting to me. Kansas City, 2 years ago, was absolutely horrible. Last year, they start off by winning their first 9 games. But during that 9 game stretch, they played quite a few backup quarterbacks, the weakest schedule in the NFL. And then after that, they fell off the map and had a terrible ending to the season, backed into the playoffs, and last week I felt that they were not going to show up. One of my big plays was going against them. They're terrible. They really do not have the weapons to compete. They just don't. And there's going to have to be a lot of retooling in Kansas City. And I don't think it's going to happen this week. They're going to Denver. Game opened 12.5 and 52. Now I'm seeing a couple numbers. I'm seeing 13 with the dog, the plus, and I'm seeing 11.5. I mean, right here, Denver's capable of beating this team 35-10 or 3 or 7. Kansas City's offense is absolutely awful. And the way Denver took off on the Colts last week with the big lead, I think they were up 24 points, and then several teams came roaring back last week after being way down. The Colts were one. Philadelphia was another. Cleveland was another. I think all those teams were down like 24 points, and they came back and covered the number. Well, the Colts covered against Denver last week, but Andrew Luck is a little bit better than Alex Smith, and Andrew Luck has a lot more weapons than Alex Smith. And Denver is the winner of this game. The question is whether you want to lay double digits or not. And in the NFL, laying double digits has never been a profitable way to go. I know last week when there was a double-digit favorite with Philadelphia, they were extremely lucky, and I mean extremely lucky to cover that game. But anyway, that's that story, and then we have one more a night game on Sunday, Chicago at San Francisco. Well, this is Jay Cutler all over again. It's like the Forrest Gump movie. Life is like a box of chocolates, and with Jay Cutler, you just never know what you're going to get. This guy's got a big arm. He can throw a football probably on his knees 75 yards. But I think that hurts him sometimes because he thinks he can just do anything. He's not fundamentally sound many times, but he looked. He should have thrown 3 interceptions last week. He threw 2, but one was dropped. Should have been caught. San Francisco's defense is murderous. I mean, they are tough, but they're hurting. They got a couple people out, and I know they played Tony Romo last week. Tony was, well, other than Eli Manning was probably the worst performance of the week. Tony Romo, of course, he had the back surgery. He didn't play much in preseason, so he really wasn't ready. And he looked like he wasn't ready. San Francisco took a big lead, mostly off turnovers. Kaepernick looked pretty good when he needed to be. And then they backed off and really slowed it down in the second half. And there was a game that should have gone over that just never did because Romo just couldn't do anything. So I don't know. We're going to have to see here how good San Francisco is with all their off-field problems during the off-season, people getting, Aldon Smith out, issues. They got a domestic violence thing hanging over them right now with McDonald. And you got the Bears. The Bears have offensive talent. That's one thing about the NFC North. I mean, they got offensive talent in that division. The Lions are offensively good, very strong. The Packers are strong. Bears are strong. And Minnesota potentially could be, especially with Cordell Patterson playing as well as he is. So that division can score a lot of points. Now, the question is, can they go out in San Francisco after embarrassing themselves at home, take 7 points and come in here and make it competitive? Line is 48.5. That's a total. Open 48, it's 48.5. You know, this is one of those games when you're looking at 7, either plus or minus depending on what book you're looking at, and the one place has 7.5. But I just think this is, you just can't give up on a team because they had a bad week at the beginning of the season. Teams bounce back, and teams learn from their mistakes. We learn a lot in life, more from our mistakes than our successes. And teams are going to bounce back off of bad performances. They have the talent. And this is going to be an interesting game. But I personally either would pass this game or take the dog. I would definitely not be laying 7 with San Francisco. And I tell you why. Another reason is they really didn't have to perform that well last week against Romo and company, because Romo basically just gave them the game. And so now we're going to ask them to play a full game. I suppose they'll have to play a full game. One thing that is common, though, both Dallas and Chicago have terrible defenses. So San Francisco has not faced a strong defense yet, and they will not in this game. So you might look at that total. That could be interesting. This is a Sunday night game, primetime television, NBC. There could be some fireworks in this game, and they're opening the new stadium. This is their first real game, regular season game, in that beautiful new stadium. So it's funny, San Francisco has played in 2 of the best stadiums in the league, one at Dallas and now on their own in the first 2 weeks of the season. I'm going to go on and we'll just talk about the Philadelphia-Indianapolis game. Nick Foles last year was amazing in not turning the ball over, but he's turned the ball over in preseason, and he did again last week. So we're not going to get that kind of a year out of Foles, although he is still a very capable quarterback. They have Mark Sanchez backing him up. I don't know what will happen with that as we go on through the season, but both those guys played very well. Well, Sanchez played very well in the preseason, although that was mostly against backups. But the important thing here is this Andrew Luck guy. I mean, I haven't seen somebody come in the league. This guy is just good. He is a young guy. He makes great decisions. He's smart. He's off-field, on-field. This guy is a smart guy. He takes care of business. He works hard. He's got 2 good quarterbacks in this game. And you're going to see some up-tempo. There's no question about that. You're going to see up-tempo football. Philadelphia, of course, they have an up-tempo game, but ironically, they're one of the best running teams in football. So they're up-tempo, but they run the ball a lot. Now, people think up-tempo, pass, pass, pass. That's not the case with this team. They throw the ball, yes, but they're a great running team, and that is a Kelly style football. He's brought that into the league, and he's a master at it. The total is 52.5, went up to 53.5, or 53 with the over. And Indianapolis is 3 minus 15, which means that's leaning a little bit towards 3.5. So that's going to be a very, very interesting game. Andrew Luck, Nick Foles. Indianapolis lost, but covered against Denver last week. This is their home opener, Monday night, prime time television. And don't forget, go to jimfeist.com. I have a free play up there that you can get. Just go on to jimfeist.com, and if you want to register for the site, it's free, and it gets you all kinds of benefits throughout the season. We have plays up there, strong plays, medium plays, and we got great information about the Hilton, which has now changed its name a couple different times. I don't even remember what the name is now. Although I'm in that, and I had a good week last week. I was 4-1. So you go to the jimfeist.com, register for the site, get free plays, get information on big plays that you can purchase, and also check out the Fast Facts.